Okay, it says I'm live, so let's see. I have no one watching yet. How are you guys doing? Nobody's watching yet, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll get some people shortly. I'm like fiddling around. It's been so long since I've done this and like scheduled it ahead of time and all that good stuff. I need to take a breather. It has been a busy, busy morning. Let's see. As you guys are popping on, say hi in the comments below. Throw up a like or heart. Just let me know you're watching. I think, did our lawn people just show up? No, good. Okay, good. So, by the way, if you didn't see, we got a new dog. Hi, Selma. And him and the cat don't quite get along. So if you hear some meowing in the background, I may have to excuse myself to go like take care of that stuff. But anyway, I'm so excited to do this live stream with you guys today. It's tackling a topic that is very important to me as someone who used to be involved with Beachbody. I'm going to be interviewing a friend of mine who I met on Instagram. Her name is Jen, and I believe she's backstage. I think. Oh, thanks, Selma. I know I need to be on here more often. I will definitely be hopping on more frequently. But we're going to be talking about our experience with Beachbody, and also not just the MLM side of it, which is very important, but also the side of it of how it's affected us and what different ways we're going about our fitness journey now that we're no longer involved with Beachbody. So I'm really excited to bring her on and have her share her story. And I just want to mention to you guys, as you know, if you've been following me for a while, we have been going through so many different changes, just different things happening. I have changed jobs twice this year. So I'm actually starting a new job on Friday, which I'm really excited about. And mainly because the job I was working before just was not providing me very much flexibility to do the things I love to do. It was just so demanding and so toxic. So now I think I'm going to be able to ease back into being like more engaged with you guys, which makes me really excited. So, awesome. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Jen on if I can figure out the technology here, which by the way, we were supposed to be on YouTube. That's a whole nother story, but we'll get there. I'm going to post the replay to YouTube. So let's see if I can find Miss Jen. Oh, there she is. I saw her taking a sip of her coffee. Hang on. All right. Add to stream.
Hello.
Oh, there she is. How's it going?
Coffee.
Yeah, that's right. Because you're like on Pacific time, right?
Yes, right now I am.
Okay.
I'm in Arizona, so we don't change times. So currently we're on the same time as California. And then when you guys all change your clocks back, we'll be an hour ahead of California and only an hour behind you. So
it's just got to be confusing for you then and different.
It can be when I don't remember what month it is. To figure out. It's nice not having to reset my clocks though.
Right. But where you're at right now, it's like 9 in the morning. So yeah. I understand having to get that Java in. I have moved on to water, so we're good. I already had one this morning.
That too.
There you go. Yes, got to stay hydrated for sure. Well, Jen, I'm really so excited to have you here. I have just loved your posts and everything that I've seen you posting on Instagram, all the different things that you share about fitness and body positivity. And I know we have similar stories because you used to be involved with Beachbody. So I wrote down some notes. This is just like a draft. I highly doubt we'll stick 100% to what I wrote down. It's totally okay if we go off the cuff and talk about whatever. Okay. These people have all heard my story. Like okay. I've told my story millions of times. I'll definitely kind of probably hit on it a couple more times, going on because it's so important that we share the struggles and our experience with MLM in general. But I really want to hear about your story. But before I do, I'd like you to tell us just a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're from Arizona, so that's cool. What do you do for a living? Do you have kids? Like whatever you want to share, just so we can kind of get to know you a little bit.
So I am 42 years young.
Yeah.
I remember, sometimes I forget how old I am and everybody makes fun of me. So, I don't care. Yeah, I grew up in Southern California and moved to Arizona in 97 for college. Got married, moved to Florida, moved there in 2002, came back here in 2009 when my oldest son was like 2.5, because we had no family out there. So we moved back to be closer to husband's family, and my family was still in California at the time. They're here now. Worked at a cheesecake factory. And then I got pregnant, had my second, who just turned 11. And a year after I had him is where the Beachbody stuff started. So we'll go way back 10 years ago. Currently, I am a certified personal trainer. I am almost done with my intuitive eating facilitator certification. But it's just me. It's me, myself, and I. I refuse to go work in a big box gym, a global gym. I won't do it. Been in there, done that. Too much shame, guilt, and I've had horrible experiences with it coming out of my eating disorder. So it's just me. I run a small online group called Anchor Fit Club. It's and I do one-on-one training. On the back end, I do have a nutrition coaching business, but it's not, I have to call it not your typical, not your mama's nutrition coaching, because I, as a personal trainer, am not allowed to tell you what to eat.
I like that.
We'll get into that later too.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to like pick your brain a little bit about that, because I myself have been struggling really hard after my coaching journey ended with like my nutrition and my body and like what can I eat and what should I eat and all this, like all those rules, right, that society and especially Beachbody kind of trained us. And I'm also sporting my cord.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think I have one tank top left, and it actually is a quarter force one, but I didn't get it from Beachbody. I got it from the Beachbody On Demand Facebook group because I like won a raffle or something. I still think I might have that somewhere, unless it's in a trash bag getting ready to go to Goodwill, which is possible. I did find the other day, my notebook's not in here. I found some old training material, what we used to be taught, and I found my 80-day obsession color-coded guide to what I could eat.
Timed nutrition there too, don't they?
Timed and food combining.
Yeah.
Stupid. That's where I hit bottom.
Right. No. Well, and I just thought it was appropriate. I'm like, hey, we're talking Beachbody. I was obsessed with Core to Force when it came out. Yeah. That was one of my favorite programs. And of course, we're going to talk more about that too, I'm sure. But
I still do some of the MMA workouts. Like MMA Speed is one of my go-tos. I have the DVD.
There you go.
So it's like, that's the one that I've kept. And I turn off the sound and I turn up my music.
There you go. That way you're not hearing the same thing every single time you work out, right?
Yeah. Well, and then there can be sometimes there's some language within the workouts that is not so good. But
you don't like cursing? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Huh?
Do you not like cursing?
Oh, I don't mind cursing.
Okay.
It's the diety, shamey language. And then pushing the Shakeology at the end.
Of course. Yeah. Yes. I kind of forgot about that. It's been a while since I've done it. And people ask me all the time if I still do the programs. Like I get that question constantly. And it's like, Sometimes I do. I'll reach for it, and sometimes I'm like, nope, I'm going to get out of the house and go on a bike ride, or go for a walk or something like that. So, okay, so tell me how you got involved and started with Beachbody. How did someone approach you about it, or was it something you sought out?
Well, so first it was when I was working at the Cheesecake Factory. I'd work nights, and I'd come home and on TV. So this is when Insanity came out, and the infomercials would be on. And I grew up an athlete. I'm like, I can do that again. And my kid was a year old. I wanted to start exercising, hate going to the gym, so I wanted to do something at home because my schedule's all over the place. But I didn't want to pay for it. And at the time that it was 2011, so the coaching opportunity was just starting. So it didn't pop up until like the end of a DVD. Contact a coach. So, but I didn't buy the DVDs. Somebody sent me burned copies of them.
That's good. I'm glad you didn't give your money to Beachbody right away.
No. So I did that, and I actually did 2 rounds of it. But at the time, like I didn't have a meal plan to go with it, but I also worked at Cheesecake Factory, so I was doing that and eating a ton of Cheesecake Factory food. So I was actually eating and doing the Insanity workouts, which was good because I wasn't starving myself. But then I hurt my knee and I stopped. Then I stopped serving, went to a restaurant management job with this Longhorn Steakhouse.
No way. Seriously?
Yeah.
I used to be a waitress there.
So in Florida, I was a waitress there. I got into I was a culinary professional, service professional, was supposed to go to the MIT program, and then we moved here. And the one that was out here at the time before they sold the Darden closed 2 weeks before they said no more. We're closing all Longhorns out there. So that's how I ended up at Cheesecake Factory, and then they ended up out here again. And I'm like, oh, peace out. And I sat down with the director of operations, and it had been like 5 years since I'd been in it. And I'm like, is this still the recipe for this? Is this still the perfect margarita? Do you still have this on the menu? Is this still this? Is this still? He's like, you're hired. Because nobody else that they were hiring in management knew anything about the company or anything about the restaurant. So anyways, so a year after I hurt my knee, I ended up starting whatever weight I lost, I gained it back. Because again, eating restaurant food, not working, not really. And yeah, you're contracted to work 50, 60 hours a week. I was working like 80. So I gained the weight back. And I had joined Beachbody On Demand in the Facebook group. There's some, I don't remember, a Beachbody Facebook group somewhere. It wasn't on demand yet because it wasn't there. And somebody reached out to me, or a friend reached out to me and said, you should do 21-day fix. Because I had tried a different diet called the 17-day diet that was pushed by Dr. Phil. And she's like, and she did it. She's like, it's really similar to that, but it includes workouts. Here, order the DVD, get the challenge pack with the Shakeology. I was like, okay. And then I was assigned a coach because they started coming out, and she contacted me, and it was somebody who was like 15 years younger than me. No kids. Not a job. So like there was already, well, you can do it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like the shame started then and the guilt tripping. I was like, oh no. So I ended up, that was the first time, and I signed up as a coach because I thought she's like, you can do it. I'm like, no. It didn't last long because I didn't have time.
So how long were you a coach then?
At that point in time, I think it was only like 6 months.
Okay.
And I made.
Yeah.
I lost.
Because you make $0 for the first year, and it goes up.
I lost whatever I bought in Shakeology.
Right.
I lost money. So I quit. And then that was 2014, right around there. And then my brother got engaged, and his fiance was into Beachbody. And I finally met her, and then they got married, and then she got my mom into it. And I had gained weight again, lost weight, gained weight, lost weight for this cycle because I had elbow surgery. So I couldn't exercise, move, like turning my car wheel hurt. And it was just, I got depressed and sad and work sucked. And it was just, my life was a hot mess at that point in time. Mm-hmm. And so I ate and drank and I gained all the weight that I had lost plus more back. So sister-in-law reaches out. I love her dearly. I'm going to say this right now. She was one of the very few coaches. She actually left before I did. Then I'm like, she got it. Right. At the same time, there was a lot of stuff that went over and she didn't notice, which is understandable. But she actually ended up getting me back in and signed me up as a coach, bought my PIO challenge pack for me because they're still not online yet. And she's like, I will take care of your Shakeology until you get your first 2 coaches under you. Mm-hmm. And it took 4 months for me to do that.
How many coaches did you get, like, to Emerald or whatever?
I got to Diamond.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I did. That's how much I really didn't care about rank advancing, even though it was pushed. You need to get people under. No. I went to Summit in New Orleans, and this was kind of like my make or break moment with the company. I had like 5 of them, but that was one of them. I didn't even know. Like, you go and you get your badge, and you get, like, I just thought I was going to say Ruby because I got to Ruby, and they're like, "Oh no, you're Diamond." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Really didn't care. But she got me in, and that's when the Facebook group started getting big and the challenge groups, and met my team, met her upline, and then the whatever Diamond she was upline. Mm-hmm. No, bitch. From the moment she popped on to like a team Zoom call, I'm like, I don't like her.
What was it about her that you feel like?
It was just so fake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know when you meet people and you're like, even if it's through Zoom, and you just get this feeling in your stomach, it's like something's off.
Yeah. Because it's like they're trying to tell you constantly. So it's all a facade. It's all.
Yeah.
And I wonder sometimes if that's why I didn't do so well, because I tried really hard to be authentic and share like what things were really like. I didn't feel comfortable sharing my paycheck because I know they used to talk about like, oh, share your earnings, share what you're doing, because I was like, well, I'm not making that much money, you know, and so I'm not going
totally against FTC regulations.
Well, and what was funny was sorry to cut you off, but when I finally started making money, like it was during COVID, I finally started like raking in decent paychecks where I felt like, okay, I can share this. That's when they started coming down hard. Like, oh, now you don't share. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been a coach for 4 years and I'm finally making money to like enough to brag about, to recruit people. And now I'm not supposed to talk about it. Like it was, back to what you're saying about the fakeness and,
and it always felt off, like going on to team calls, and it was just very high school cliquish for me.
Yeah.
Mean Girls type, and all of the positive vibes only share the positive stuff, don't share the negative. Kind of like that's also not real. Mm-hmm. So I was always questioning stuff. And a lot of times I didn't say it out loud, but it was in my head. And then he's like, did you? And he looked. He's like, people don't make money in this. It's very hard. And if you look at the income disclosure statements, it's really hard. But, it's like, no, I can do this. I can do this. I'm helping people.
You can be the 1%.
Yeah. But initially, I was like, look, I just want to pay for my Shakeology every month. And that stuff was not that good.
Yeah.
It's not. But I would get called out by not my sister-in-law and not her upline, but the 5-star diamond one who's still around. And in groups for not hitting Success Club and not bringing people on as coaches and not having them on Shakeology.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would bring people in, especially when SPOD came around, I would bring them in with a challenge pack because it did make, if you're going to drink Shakeology, it did make the most financial sense. But I would also say in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm going to check in on you. And if you don't like Shakeology, or if you cannot afford to keep buying it, I will cancel your auto subscription for you. And that made people mad.
Yeah.
Because I was now I'm taking money out of upline's pockets.
Oh, of course.
And I did. I would cancel people's auto ship.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody did decide, I actually like this, I'm going to continue to drink it, then I would say, all right, let's sign you up as a coach so you can at least save. I love when they say save, 25%. Okay, with tax and shipping.
And your coach.
Right? It's just as a customer, it's like $150 a month. That includes tax and shipping.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, like it's $97. Okay, that doesn't include tax, and it doesn't include your $15.95 a month back office coaching fee. So you're still paying $120, so you're saving $30. It's like, $30 is $30. It's a lot of money. But for them to put it out there, you save so much by doing it. No, you don't.
I remember they used to look at it like you have to look at it like a whole year. Like if you're buying a year's worth of Shakeology, then you're saving all of the money. But it's like
it's a free bag a year. That's what
you're spending all of this money that, and we can talk about Shakeology too here in a little while, what your thoughts are on that, because honestly, I will tell you, when I first tried it, I did not like the taste. I had to train myself to like it. I had to mix it with the right ingredients.
Yeah.
And I did, and I drank it every day. And I guess it was okay. It was, protein, whatever. But you can find the same thing at Walmart or GNC or somewhere else for half the price, if not a quarter of the price, probably. So yeah. Anyway.
So my husband at the time was like, it's just a really expensive protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
You're wasting your money. And I wouldn't listen because now I'm part of a community of women who are supporting women and supporting me. And they're my friends. And it's a community. And it's once you start questioning and you really start looking at what is happening and you're like, wait a second. No. They're not really immunity if you question them. I had issues with people because we weren't supposed to make medical claims about Shakeology. We weren't supposed to say it cures this. We weren't supposed to say it helps with this. So I would always say it's a shake.
You can't sell it though that way.
It's a meal. It's a meal. It's not even a meal replacement shake. 180 calories is not a meal. Even if you add bananas and peanut butter to it.
But that's when you come back and you say it's snake oil, right? Like it's going to cure all your diseases. And that's how you sell it.
I saw people, I drank it. I wasn't able to have a baby. And then I started drinking it. And then I got pregnant. And they still do that. Or it's cured my IBS. Or it helps with my fibromyalgia and chronic inflammation. Like you see all these things and it's just like, and I'm sitting here going, if somebody's like, well, I have this issue. I said, okay, here's a letter. Take it to your doctor and see if it's okay for you to drink.
Mm-hmm.
there's like zero integrity because it's all about making a sale. Because the bottom line is, as much as people say it's not about the money, it's about helping people, it's absolutely about that paycheck.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with you on that. Did you feel like, so you rank advanced to diamond at some point. So were you able to hold that, and were you bringing in any income on the business side? Because there were maybe
No.
liked the shake. Okay. So you weren't really making
in the let's see, 2015, I left, canceled May of 2018. So in the 3.5 years I went back and looked, my net profit over that time was like $200.
Oh, wow.
Because I was still buying shakes every month. I was buying the performance line. I was buying at that point in time, and you had to buy the DVDs before. So you're spending money every month. You're buying 3-day refreshes. People are buying the ultimate, whatever what reset.
Yeah.
They put out programs that require additional equipment. You have to buy that equipment. You want to get it, and then they started the VIP access, like the early access to, like, it started with 80-day sessions, then with
I remember that.
So you had to pay your coach already, but you still had to pay more to get into that. So you're spending all of this money, and the commission on the selling of products to customers isn't that much. The money was if the people below you that were coaches were bringing in other coaches, you would make more money. And I was not encouraging anybody to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
The people under me were seriously just there if they were drinking Shakeology.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What was your motivation then for coaching? Was it just the discount on Shakeology and like to be involved with the community and the fitness programs, or?
So at first it was just the discount on Shakeology.
Mm-hmm.
And then the disordered behavior and thoughts snuck in as I started losing the weight. I dropped almost 100 pounds in a year. And the praise and the attention and the celebration and all of that feeling of, oh, people actually finally like me and love me, and I deserve this now. I didn't deserve it then. And that's the disorder kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually going to talk about this today, a little later on my Instagram page, but the transformation pictures. Whenever a new program would come out, you would take one, and then you would take one at the end, whether it was 21 or 30 days. And so every month, and you have to be a product of the product, but you don't get celebrated really unless there's like a transformation. And a lot of times there's transformation where I look exactly the same and you post it, and everybody under that post is a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Commenting, liking.
You look amazing. Great job. Blah, blah, blah.
And then certain other friends would come on and say it too. So it's like you're getting all of this praise lavished on you, celebrating this behavior. I was sick.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping. My hair was falling out. My nails were constantly breaking. I had chronic injuries, chronic fatigue. And I was dealing with other health issues, and I'm still not eating. So this was portion control, right? I was eating maybe 1,200 calories. Like I was picking the most, the foods that had the least nutrient density in them,
mm-hmm.
with the lowest amount of calories I could do. I was like eating from the very top of the list. So not only was I not eating a lot, I wasn't eating a wide variety at all. I was deficient in vitamins, my hormones were, and I ended up it didn't have anything to do with that. It was from 2 cesarean sections, but I had adenomyosis. Totally pronounce it wrong every time. And it took almost the entire year of 2016 to diagnose me, but I was in the ER almost every month with severe pain. And I was still doing not just one workout at a time. I was doing 2.
Wow.
Because I wanted the celebration and to because like share your success, and the more you share your success, the more successful you are, which is the smaller you get, the more people will come to you.
Mm-hmm. Which
Okay.
isn't really true, by the way. No.
No. Yeah. So I ended up having a hysterectomy in 2017, and I had gotten to my lowest weight right before that. I was like 118, 120. I'm 5'8". I did not look good. Like I see pictures. I had no muscle definition whatsoever. My eyes were sunken in. I was tired all the time. And so I'm dealing with health issues, and I'm on top of it, I'm anorexic. It was not a good combo. But before that happened, I skipped ahead. I tore my bicep tendon doing shift shop after it was after Summit in New Orleans. And so I couldn't do, like, I still get bruising here. I was doing a push-up. What I thought was a push-up. It was not a push-up. Because let's be honest, people who do the programs are not coached on how to do push-ups properly. I watch videos all the time. I'm like, you're going to tear your shoulder too.
Yeah.
So I did that. So I couldn't do the workouts. Like even any type of, just like with my elbow, any type of movement, even if you're jumping, squatting, you're involving your arm, unless you're just sitting on like a leg press machine.
You know, it's interesting you talk about that, because I remember I had heard some sort of story. I was at like a Super Saturday or something like that.
Yeah, those.
Was there was a video they shared of like this guy who got in like really great shape doing like P90X or whatever, and he was listening to Tony Horton, and the guy had injured his knee or something like that. Like he had injured something, and Tony Horton in the DVD said, you know, if you have an injury, don't work that part, but just work another part. Like you can always do something, right? That whole like push, 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 even if you're injured. And, you know, they were celebrating that at Super Saturday because the guy lost so much weight. Even though he was injured, he was just working his other body parts. And then, like, I noticed as a coach, you know, I have no training in fitness and nutrition, by the way, just what Beachbody taught me, which is nothing.
Yeah.
But I would tell my clients the same thing. I would, you know, it was so much indoctrination, and you would pass that along like, well, you know, no excuses. If you hurt your knee, that's okay. Just do something else, work something else, you know, and it's very toxic.
So the no excuses, the no pain, no gain. Everybody has 24 hours in a day.
Oh my gosh. That one.
With the injuries, and they would happen in the challenge groups, and people would be trying to tell them what to do. And I'm sitting here going, they need to go see a doctor. This is me. Like, I comment, I hurt, what should I do? Go see an orthopedic. Go see a physical therapist. Like, I'm the one commenting. Everybody else is like, oh, here, do this stretch. Oh, here, do this. Oh, just ice and rest. And I'm like, we're not supposed to be doing this. Like, this isn't right. And so when I work with clients now, I work with a lot of people that have been dealing with injuries. And yes, we work around them, but I actually teach them how. I don't just go, oh, just don't work something else.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're doing something. And that's...
You're still moving that. Like, if you're not doing it right, I'm assuming you're still working that arm that you're injured. So...
And for, like, to go into the DVD programs, this is one of the issues I have with them. It's like, if you're injured or this part hurts, just do something. Well, what's something?
Mm-hmm.
There's no directions. There's no coaching. There's no training. There's unqualified people in challenge groups who want you there, who want to keep you there so they can make you money, giving you advice and that they shouldn't be giving. It's a big liability. And and then in the workout programs, they have the newer ones have the modifiers. But before that, it was just march it out if you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how defeating is that?
Right.
And I never just marched it out because I'm like, no, I need to look like them. So I have to do the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not just going to march it out. And that's how people got hurt.
Yeah. Do you feel like, so how long ago has it been since you quit? Like
May 2018.
Okay. So you've been out for a little while now. Good for you. I just quit in September of 2020. So I was a coach. Thank you. I was a coach.
We need chips.
I know.
Something.
I started in 2016 after my second baby, and I ended up quitting in 2020. And, I thought I was on the right track because I had lost weight, and I was heavy when I started because I just had a baby. I mean, I was 3 months postpartum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I lost 40 pounds, and that was such a huge thing. But now it's great because I've gained so much weight back. But the disordered habits, the disordered eating it still plagues me. It's still in my head. And so my question for you is, now that you've been removed from it for a couple of years, you've got your personal training thing under your belt. Like, do you feel like you're still affected by the mentality? Like, does that still trouble you, or are you past that? And how, if you are past that, how did you get to that point?
So I'm going to say this. Having an eating disorder never goes away. You're in recovery. So it's a day-to-day thing. So those thoughts are always going to pop up and be there. It's just now I have the knowledge and tools and skill set to handle them. Mm-hmm. I still think about, I'll still body check myself every once in a while too. Like, I haven't weighed myself I've had to be weighed, but I haven't looked at a scale in almost 3 years. I have no idea. All I know is the last 2 years, my clothes have fit me. I haven't had to buy new ones, smaller or bigger. I don't care. I lift weights, I train, I move.
I love that. I'm so jealous.
And so,
I want to get there.
And I'm going to share this with everybody now. You do not have to get weighed at your doctor's office if you don't want to. If you're going for a routine checkup.
Okay. Because I'm pregnant though. Yes. So they weigh me every time I go in.
I'm getting there. If you're going for a routine checkup, you don't have to. You can say, I prefer not to be weighed today. If you need to be weighed, you can turn around and say, I don't want to know. Mm-hmm. It's called a blind weigh-in. And I just did one with a health screening. I said, I'm turning around. I don't want to know. Don't write it down where I can see it. I don't need to know. And so she blind weighed me. And I said, okay, move the things so I don't know where they are. And she just shuffled them around. I said, okay, thank you. And I told them, you don't have to. Unless it's a medical reason, like pregnancy, or you have some sort of condition, like chronic condition that they need to weigh you for medication or anesthesia, there is no reason that you need to be weighed to go in for strep throat.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
You don't need to. Now I lost where I was going to go. Let's go back to Super Saturdays for a second.
Okay.
Rah. Do you remember when they would have everybody stand up
and ask 5 pounds or something?
And everybody would start sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
The very last one I went to, I was one of the last people standing up.
Yeah.
And just that emotion, oh my gosh, everybody's like, we can't believe you. There was one other girl that was always at the ones out here. But it was just, who came to mind? I'd see Tony Robbins, Jericho, and Chris Downs were the ones that
Tony Robbins came to yours?
Not Tony Robbins.
I was like, huh? Or Tony Horton?
Tony Horton. Tony Robbins is problematic too.
I was like, damn, how'd they get Tony Robbins at Super Sick?
No, and then some other randoms, but just towards like my last one, I stood up there. I'm like, this is wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, why am I doing this?
Embarrassed because I was usually one. I wasn't like the very end because 40 pounds. I was like somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. But just like my team, like I remember one time they did it at Summit too, one of the sessions I was in, and I was sitting with my team and my upline coach, like tried to take my picture like while I was standing up, and I was just so like, oh my gosh, like, and then she was like, she didn't get my picture, so she was like, stand back up, and I'm just like, but I'm not supposed to be standing up. This feels weird, and I'm sure the picture didn't look that good because my face was like, you know, because
they share all these powerful stories and success stories just to prime you to stay in. Mm-hmm. Like, I can do it, you can do it, which is, we both know, is not true. The stories they're sharing are people who have been in it since like the beginning and are at the top.
It worked for me, girl. I was in it for like a long ass time. 4.5 years. Like, that's too long.
Yeah. And it's just, you want that, you chase that. And it's problematic. Mm-hmm. My biggest issue now coming out of recovery, when I left, okay, so I'll tell you guys, my very bottom was February of 2018. And 80 day obsession had come out. So I had started that. And I think I was 4 weeks in. It was my son's birthday. And leading up to this point in time, I was having at least 12 to 15 donuts a week, sneaking them in my car. I was eating lots of Starbucks coffee cake, drinking lots of Starbucks, going through the drive-thru at Wendy's, sneaking tons of food. But I was still losing weight because I was eating on a plan that already had me underfed. Mm-hmm. And I didn't show anybody. I'd show them my Shakeology. I'd show them my salad. I'd show them that. I'm not going to show you. Okay. So I go to, yeah. So I was overeating, and I don't want to call it binge eating because that is a very specific disorder. Like when people, I binged on this. No, you overate. Let's change like, you're not diagnosed with BED, you overate. So
fullness or whatever.
Yeah, I with clients and my members, I especially work on, we're shifting language around. We overate, and it's okay. It's going to happen. But I went to pick up donuts for my son's birthday. Just a box of like regular glazed donuts, and I ate all 12 of them in my car by myself. All of a sudden, I look down and the box is empty.
And this was while you were doing coaching in Beachbody.
Yep. And that was like something. I just started crying, and I had to go back in and buy more donuts because I just ate the whole box.
And I can't even imagine like the shame. You know what I mean? No. Like that's because that's how it was for me. Like they put you on that 1,200 calorie nutrition plan, and that's impossible to stick to. And so then whenever you overeat or you go off the deep end with a box of donuts, you just feel like you fail, like you're the worst. You know, like how can you call yourself a coach if you can't even?
Yeah.
I'm
trying to see if I can find something. Hold on. It might be in my other one though. It might be in that one. In this one? It's not in this one. I calculated. So
I apologize if you can hear the yard work happening. I might mute myself here if it gets too loud. Do that now, actually.
This is my 80-day obsession cheat sheet. I want to know where. Should I write it down somewhere? So knowing now what I know, can calculate your basal metabolic rate. it's what your body needs just to lay in bed all day and keep you alive, is 1,200 calories. When I was that low, and that's what they have you eating, and then that included the workouts. So technically, I'm eating less than 12. So even with going up to the B group, I still would have been under eating. C group, the only program that actually fed me kind of enough was Body Beast, because you actually got carbs.
That's what I was going to say. Well, with that one, because you're trying to build muscle, so they were able to justify you eating enough food.
Oh, but there was also a lean plan. So they had the bulk and the lean. So there was 2 different ways. I don't know where I'm. And this is on my posting schedule. Videos are December to remember. And you make a list of who's going to be who could be a good coach, who could be a customer, and the names and days when I would message them. Oh yeah, I found this. I'm like, this is gold.
Did you post like 5 times a day? I know I had to post like 5 times a day, like different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fierce focus. Show yourself some love.
That was actually one of my favorite parts about leaving Beachbody, was not having to post constantly on my social media. Like, I feel bad because I'm sure my friends miss seeing my stuff, at least the ones on my page. But it feels good because I don't feel like I have another full-time job of posting all the time on social media.
I do. I use social media as how I get myself out there.
Absolutely.
But on Instagram once a day, I'm in my stories.
Mm-hmm.
But I also I set boundaries with myself. I'm not, they say, oh, you can do it in pockets of 10 minutes a day. You don't have to work all the time. No, if you're trying to build that business, you're hustling 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, I'm on vacation. Yeah, you're also working on vacation.
Yeah.
We go to California in the summer. And like this year, especially with my client, I said, I'm on vacation. If you really, really need something, email me. And I'll be checking. I use an app called True Coach for their workouts. I said, I'm going to check it this day, this day, this day, this day, at this time. So if you send me a question before then, expect an answer the next day. So you set boundaries. I'm like, in 2017, we went there. Yeah, because it was the first year we went, so I was still a coach. And I was constantly messaging people. I was not present at all. I mean, now I scroll my phone now, but my kids are older and they can give a shit about me. But it's like, I'm not working. I have business hours. I'm not up until midnight messaging people, cold DMing, any of that, which also was awful.
And I used to get up at like the crack of dawn to like do my power hour or whatever. It was like 4 in the
power hour. I forgot about that.
And one of the things I found out later, like learning about cults, right? Just to draw the parallel.
Yeah.
Sleep deprivation is one of the ways that they brainwash people. And when you talked about like your eyes being sunken in because of the nutritional component, I was also thinking about the sleep deprivation, because that's how it was for me. Like I was always on going. Yeah.
My cortisol levels were probably through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, I don't know how, like I'm still trying, I'm up to like 6.5 hours of sleep. My goal is to get to solid 8, but at the same time, I'm still like stuck. So it's like, that's one of the things, like, it's one of the things I work on with my clients. It's like, look, I struggle with these things too. And one of the habits I need to get better at is sleep. And I was actually in bed before 1 a.m. last night, which was like, that's
yay.
So that's one of my focuses. I'm going to Seattle this weekend, and when I come back, that's like my main focus is my sleep hygiene and getting better at that.
Sure.
I was going to say something I forgot now. Oh, after that the donut incident, I just I checked out from my team because my person that brought me in had already left. 3 of the people on her team had already left, so I was under her. And then I find out I am under so they moved me under her upline, which I thought we were friends, but she took off and ditched and didn't say anything. So now I'm stuck under the person who I can't stand. And I'm like, I'm out. And I didn't say. In 2017, I went on a cruise in the fall, in October, so like 4 years ago. I came back, I got sick, ended up with pneumonia. And it knocked me on my butt for like 2 months. I could barely get from my couch to the bathroom, to my bed to the bathroom. I had like zero energy. I was sleeping like 20 hours a day. Why aren't you hitting Success Club? Why aren't you on our diamond calls? You need to be working the business. I'm like, I can barely get out of bed. There was no concern. There was no, how are you doing? Do you need anything from us? It was, hey, you need to get on this and you need to sell so you can make money. Mm-hmm. And that's the very first time I started like, whoa, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to give the 80-day obsession launch a chance. And then there was the donut issue. And then, do you remember Josh Coates?
Oh my God. I hate Josh Coates, like with a passion.
So I did one of his groups.
Me too. I wonder, we could have been in the same group because it was around that same time.
It was 2018. It was the spring of 2018.
Yeah.
And that was actually the best month that I had ever had.
Uh-huh.
But then none of like the top coaches would engage with me because I was I think I was an emerald at that point in time.
Right.
I wasn't cool enough. And I'm like, this is a bunch of crap. And so I ended up winning like the gift card in that thing because I had like the best. But again, I only remember my net income, even if I think it was like $1,500 that month. My net income over the entire time was $200.
Yeah. Let's tell everyone who Josh Coates is, because these people have never been in Beachbody before. So they're like, who? Josh Coates was like a push coach that the uplines would hire to help their teams. At least that's how it was. Or you could join like one of his groups if you paid $200 or something like that, I think is what it was. I don't remember. I know I joined.
Yeah, it was like $197 or something like that.
And he had, it was like, it's interesting to me with MLM.
I have notes here from it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to me that I think what ends up happening is because, MLMs are full of vulnerable people who have been sold a lie. Yeah. And so they're desperate. At least I know I was desperate to make it work. I wanted so badly for this to take off. So then you have another person like Josh who comes over and is like, hey, your business isn't working for you. Well, let me sell you this additional thing that's going to help. So then you're wasting more money because you're investing more in. And I remember he made me feel like because he was in, my coach had hired him for like our team. Yeah. And I was in like a diamond push group or something like that. And
those push groups.
He called me out in front of everybody. And I did not think it was right because he didn't know my story. He didn't know anything. He was like, I think, because I said, I was just expressing, I feel like I've been working for so long. I've been working for so hard for so long. And I was just getting burnt out at that point. And I just am not seeing the results that, everyone's saying I'm supposed to be seeing. And he's like, well, where are you with SC? And I was like, I'm at 0. Well, you're not working hard. Freaking gaslighting me right there in front of everybody. Well, clearly you haven't been working hard. You just said you're at SC 0. And I'm just like, just because I'm at SC 0 doesn't mean I'm not doing the work. Yeah. And let's not talk about the 2 years I did the work consistently and never hit diamond. And I invited 100 people a day and I posted my workout every single day and I followed the plans and I still wasn't getting the result. Oh my gosh, that guy.
It's just as easy as drink your shake, do your personal development, post your workout, and you'll have a business.
No, it's not that easy.
That's what they sell. And I'm just like, no. And number one, and now I know, you aren't a business owner. if you were a business owner, you would be in Carl's place.
Mm-hmm. You would be able to have control over the product, the pricing, the creativity behind it. I mean, they acted like you had.
Yeah,
but really didn't.
And if you're reporting to an upline, you're not a business owner. You're a 1099 contracted employee.
Right. So
you're a customer.
How did your upline, so you ended up, because you had a different upline who brought you in. So, my upline kind of, she insulted me when I quit. I mean, I was just so upset.
Oh, I didn't even tell him.
Okay.
I just left. See, I wasn't friends.
Like hey, I'm leaving, because she and I thought had a relationship, but yeah.
No, I didn't even, I just left the groups.
Good for you. I
was like, peace out. I was friends with one girl in there, and I still chat with her every once in a while. But we both were like, we're done. And we kind of did it together. So that helped. But I didn't. I was like, bye. And I unfriended a whole bunch of people. But at the time, too, you remember there was a mass exodus of top Beachbody coaches to go to a wine?
Yeah, right? Big.
And how everybody got blacklisted type thing, and be like, don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. I'm like, why?
Because they don't want you dragging them to another MLM.
Yeah. Which is funny because, so they had the non-compete, right? Why can't they do wine and this at the same time? Wine doesn't compete with fitness. Mm-hmm. Which I actually joined that for a little while.
Oh.
For a short period of time. It was a former Beachbody coach that brought me in, who was also a former live instructor, and she has now blocked me on all social media. I've been talking about my Beachbody story for 2 years now. My messaging hasn't changed, and now you block me? Okay, whatever. Maybe now she's just paying attention to what I'm saying. Yeah. People go back, well, you haven't been like this. I'm like, yeah, actually, you want to read through my old posts because I save them. I've been saying this stuff for 2 years now. Mm-hmm. My messaging has not changed about this. My story has not changed. It will not change, and you will not dismiss my story and say, oh, you're just a hater. Yeah. No, this is my story. Don't gaslight me. Don't dismiss me. Kiss my butt. Right?
I'm so shocked with how many people labeled me a hater. And this was before I'd even started talking openly about Beachbody, on my YouTube channel and everything. But I had friends that I was close with, that we had done groups together, and I thought we were friends.
Yep.
And when I quit Beachbody, it was they blocked me. They're gone. Not everybody. There are a couple that still are, and they're still active coaches. But there was even a girl in my downline, and her and I were friends. I was her mentor. And when I quit, I told her, and I said, this is, I'm afraid this isn't good for me. This is a scam. If you want to keep doing it, that's your choice, but I'm out. So my upline will now be your upline. I did the whole thing. I tried to be as professional as I could about it. Yeah. And he quit following me on Instagram. And
that's the thing I did do.
So much about why Beachbody was a scam. And it's when you're in it, you have to be blind that you can't
listen. You have to drink the Shakeology. Not Kool-Aid. Or the what is the mom juice?
Oh, the unicorn juice.
The unicorn juice. Whatever ridiculous thing they called Energize.
Yes.
That stuff gave me heart palpitations, and I used to drink 2 pots of coffee a day.
See, I liked Energize though. I liked the flavor.
No.
And it did help me. I feel maybe it was a placebo, but it helped me with my workout. I felt before because we're already at an hour. So before we hop off, I just wanted to touch, there's a couple things. First of all, I want to touch on the workouts, what your thoughts are on the workouts, because I was watching your IG stories from yesterday, and it looked like you had some thoughts on the safety like about the workouts themselves. So I want to talk about that briefly. And then also I want everyone to know about your business and how you can help, because you're not in an MLM, and I love supporting small business, and like you're certified, you're a personal trainer, and I feel like you can actually help people who are looking for this. And I might actually be interested too, just so you know. But before we get to that, I want to hear about the workouts. Tell me, like, because I thought the workouts were pretty good. Like, I thought they were helpful. I did have plantar fasciitis. So when it came to Shaun T and all the jumping, that was not good for me and my feet, but I kept doing it anyway. So
my biggest issue with the company is, as a whole, like I said, their little medical disclaimer at the beginning of the workouts, people are not going to call their doctor. Let's just be honest. That's only there for liability purposes. So I tore my bicep tendon, right? Hold on, I let my dog out.
Okay. Go. She'll be back in just a moment.
Okay. He was whining. So it's just liability for them to cover their butts. And I would always hate to say the workout's for everybody. There's a modifier. Everybody can do this. And that's not true. And you see now, people post, I see women still posting like videos of their workouts that are in it, that were on my team back then. And I'm just like, there's no saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Let's do this instead, to get you to be able to do like a dumbbell snatch. Like the workout program that came out 645 and earlier in the year, there was a lot of like CrossFit style moves. And a lot of those are advanced exercises. It's like people are going to get hurt doing these. And I'm watching women try and throw these 15-pound, 20-pound dumbbells over the heads doing a snatch. And I'm like, you don't have the skill set to do that yet. It's like, this is not right. And it can be dangerous. But not only that, the nutrition programs are disordered eating wrapped in a pretty package. And not everybody, I'm going to say this, not everybody is going to struggle with it. The statistic is around 65% of women, American women, struggle with some type of disordered eating behavior. That's enough statistic for me that's like, yo, that's a problem. But they refuse to, and you see it especially in autumn, dig in their heels. This isn't a problem. This isn't disordered eating. No, you just need more willpower. That's my biggest issue. Is like they refuse to acknowledge that these types of programs and the nutrition plans can cause harm to people, because there's people like me and people like you and the clients that I work with. Most of them have been where I was more, recently out with it. We're not an anomaly. There's a ton of us out there, but we're silenced when we speak out. We're called haters. We're called bashers. Oh, you just couldn't cut it. There's harm that can come with these programs, and I just want that acknowledgement, especially from the top people. But if they do that, then that cuts into their wallets and pocketbooks, so they won't. It's not about health. This is not a health company. It's not a wellness company. It is a diet company focused on weight loss. And now they've started hijacking intuitive eating, because they know we're starting to fight back, and like, these don't work. Diet, it doesn't work for a lot of people. And it drives me up a wall. It's like, and that's why I'm like, I need to get louder now, because especially coming in towards the end of the year, there's another new program coming out. And I'm like reading through the copy of it, like, oh gosh, I'm going to have some fun with it. But yeah, that's my main thing. It's like they won't admit that it can cause harm to people because the people still in it go, well, I'm doing fine. But are you really?
Right.
If you're getting pissed off and angry that you see Halloween candy in the grocery store at the end of September, there's something not right there. You know.
I know. I remember the shame around the holidays. Like, eat healthy for Thanksgiving by like
drop a turkey by Thanksgiving. No.
Well, okay, like I said, we need to wrap up here. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, and where my friends want some help. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the way I coach, we focus on it's an anti-diet. We don't diet. I actually encourage you to eat more food. We eat more, we work hard, but recovery is huge. So I'm big on rest days. I'm weight, size inclusive. Now I will say you said body positivity. I'm not body positive because it's not meant for me. It's meant for marginalized bodies, larger bodies. And that movement, just like intuitive eating, has been hijacked by companies like Beachbody and coaches like them. So I support the movement, but I come from a place of body neutrality and body acceptance and body respect. But you can still be positive about your body, any shape or size, but the movement itself, not mine to use. I have 3 ways that people can work with me. There's one-on-one coaching, Anchor Fit Club, which is the small group, and that's 3 months at a time. It's a year program, but you can do 3 months at a time. But it's a progressive strength training program, 3 days a week, optional cardio day, mobility work, but we also cover nutrition. We cover behavior change. And I teach you so you have the knowledge to go in, hey, I'm off with this. I'm not ready for this exercise yet. I'm going to do this one instead. So you have the tools to navigate. I read the programs, but you have the autonomy to change it. So you're still moving towards your goals. And then there's excuse me, I do monthly programming for people, but I don't recommend that for beginners. So monthly, because there's no coaching involved. Like we have 1 call a week or 1 call a month, and then I write a program for you, and then we check in once a month if you still, or whenever you want to recheck and change up your programming. Can find me on Instagram, it's the best place, jenb.coaching. I also have a page on Facebook, also Jen B Coaching. There's 2 of us, so make sure you look for my face. and it'll say Jen B Coaching Anchor Fit Club in the cover page. That's a newer thing. Basically everything on Instagram goes to there. So Instagram is the best place to find me because I find that Facebook is too damn negative. I am on Thursday, I'm closing off the doors for my group membership just for a couple of weeks because I got a bunch of stuff coming up, but I'm opening them back in October. So if you're interested in starting, you can message me on, seriously, Instagram is the best place to message me and ask questions. There's also a link in there to my website that gives you a little bit more information. But that's the easiest way to find me.
Awesome. Jen, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your story with me. I find it's just awesome that we can kind of banter back and forth and that we have similar stories because I feel like the more people share what happened to them with the MLM, the louder our voice gets.
Yeah.
We can fight them. I don't think we're ever going to shut an MLM down.
No.
I want to so badly, but whenever one gets shut down, one pops up, they just keep popping up. But I think the more our voices are heard, the less people they have to dupe and recruit. So
I think it's just, the louder we get, if I can just go, look, you don't have to work with me, but just don't do that.
Right.
And I have people, my friend Jamie has an online workout subscription, and she is amazing. I send people there all the time. Like, you don't want to work with a coach, you just want to do the workouts, go here.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and people are like, wait, and I promote other trainers' businesses. It's like, look, I'm not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be. So I have a network of people who are like, okay, you would fit better with them. You would fit better with them. Like, you're giving away business. I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, because the universe is abundant, right?
I highly recommend the book. If you haven't read it yet, the book Cultish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, I saw you posted something about that yesterday, and I was saying,
I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh, that's Beachbody. Oh, that's Beachbody. And it's basically any MLM, and it's not just MLMs. There's other groups too, but language, like I said earlier, that's what I'm learning about now, is matters, and how it's used. And it's just, when you get outside of it and you see it happening, and you're like, oh, I know what's going on right now. And you can like kind of predict what these people are going to do. And you're like, yep, called it.
Yeah.
But nice. Thank you for having me on.
You are so welcome. Like, seriously, we might have to do it again, because I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface.
Oh, there's so much more.
Yeah.
I know. When I was on with Brittany last week, and we were talking about, like, we went for a good hour and a half. I'm like, we could have gone all day. It's like, there's so much. And
awesome. Well, thanks again for joining. And I will definitely be reaching out to you more on Instagram, just keeping in touch. And I hope that my friends, if you guys are interested in getting some coaching with Jen, find her up on Instagram. What's your handle again? Jen B Coaching?
JenB.coaching.
JenB.coaching. So you guys check her out there. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
I'm going to go listen to the Maintenance Phases podcast on Rachel Hollis right now.
Awesome. Well, enjoy that.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.